Hi guys, and welcome to another video from Stupid is the Norm, the channel where we demonstrate how to become a millionaire in 10 years whilst earning only minimum wage. And in this video I'm going to explain to you why it is that most people won't become wealthy. In 2023, the Office for National Statistics said that the median wage in the UK was £38,000. Now, before a lot of you balk at that number, I don't know anybody, none of my friends are making 38 grand. Up where I live in Newcastle, it's a lot of money. But, you know, we make a lot less than that up here because it's cheaper to live up here. But that said, we can only work with the figures we have. So let's take that 38,000 that the ONS give us and net it down to after tax and work it out as per month. It works out, nets down to about £2,500, which is, again, where I come from, a staggering amount of money. But let's leave that as it is. Let's now take off, imagine this person's living by themselves in wherever they live. Housing costs, I know it's from my own because my housing costs about £1,000, maybe more depending on your mortgage. So that leaves us with £1,500 from the 2,500. Then you have a car. It's normal now to lease cars £200 or £300 a month, but you still could have put fuel in them, what have you. So we're looking at about another £500. That leaves us with £1,000. And then you've got food and drink. You've got to live, say 150 for food. I don't know where you shop, and some drink, of course. A lot of people are now drinking in the house instead of going out. Let's call it 600 quid. So that leaves £400. Now that £400 is to cover what I like to think of as all the nice things. It includes things like paying for holidays, entertaining, going out with friends and what have you, weekends, you know, maybe it's during the week, going for a dinner or something, buying Christmas presents, birthday presents, everything. That's going to go. That means you've got nothing left. It is incredibly difficult in this country, if you're living by yourself, to get anywhere near enough disposable or investable income to make a difference to your future to become wealthy. And the key to becoming wealthy is to look at this number here. This is all the nice things in life. This is, as I said before, the going out on weekends and the going on holidays and such like. And the question you need to ask yourself is, what am I willing to sacrifice in order to become wealthy? And most people hate doing this. Most people will not want to touch this. Most people will ring fence this and say, no, there's a bit of a work-life balance required here, Perry, and what needs to happen is I need this to go weekends and get drunk on, just to relieve myself of the stresses having to provide for all this here. But if you heard me say it once, you've heard me say it a dozen times, there are three reasons why most people won't become wealthy. The first one is hard work. Nobody likes working hard, even me. The second one is sacrifice, and these are the sacrifices you have to make. And the third one is time. Now, there is another way to do this, and that is not to do it by yourself. And this is essentially how I did it, aside from working 60 hours a week and working 50% more than most people, is I have my wife with me here, and she earns full-time money well. She's a nurse, works for the NHS. So we've split these bills where she pays for all the food, all the nice things, presents and what have you, and I pay the household costs. So I pay these here. I don't have this because I'm a cab driver and the cab gets supplied. So I haven't got that cost, and I don't have this cost here. So if you add those two together, that gets me £900 to invest. And that's how I started originally. Then of course I buy property and the net from the rents comes and gets added to these. So it snowballs and gets more and more. So that's the other way to do it, is to not do it by yourself, and is do it with a partner. It is incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to do it by yourself if you're living not with your parents but having to pay all these costs on top. And that's why most people won't become wealthy. It all seems staggeringly obvious, and then I get people say that, oh yes, but I will be wealthy, Perry, because you're forgetting one thing. I've got my workplace pension. And I go, because on average, according again to the Office of National Statistics, the average pension pot in retirement from something like a workplace pension, or even a private pension, is £107,000 in the pot itself, £107,000. And of course, you've got to take some of that out so you can live off it. And a suggested safe withdrawal rate is 4%. So if you take 4% of £107,000, it means you're taking out £356 a month. £356 a month. That's what your pension pot of £107,000 is going to get you at 4% withdrawal rate. You're going to starve to death in retirement unless you do something about it. Okay, Perry, I see your point. So when should I start? When's the best time? Is it, before I have children, while I've got children, after I've had children, when they've flown the nest and I've got more money? Let me do a little graph here. Along here we have age. At age 18 when you start work, at age 68, which is retirement age now for people who are just coming into the marketplace, it's 67 for me, but it's 68 now for most people. And let's imagine you want a cool £1 million when you retire. So that's the £1 million line there. Now, if you're at age 18 here, then to get up to your £1 million at age 68, that's the line you have to follow. It's nice, it's linear, it's not too steep, but the longer you leave it, the worse, the more steep that becomes. Until 25 years later when you're 43, and you say, right, now it's time to start, Perry, look how much steeper that's got. And the later you leave it, it gets worse. Now I started at 57, let's say 57 is round about there. And that was the mountain I had to climb. And that's why I had to get into property, because I needed the biggest bang for my buck because I left it so late. But you needn't leave it as late as that. If you start investing right back here in something like an ETF or, you know, Vanguard pensions, a SIP, something like that, then you can take that nice, easy, long, gentle route and get there much more easily than I did. So given that the longer you leave it, the less chance you've got to save your money, because if you leave it right up here, it almost becomes an impossible mountain to climb. So given that, when do you think is the best time to start? The best time to start is now, regardless of what your circumstances are. If you want to get there in the easiest possible way, in the most guaranteed way, you start investing now. Don't be stupid, don't be normal, guys.